Hey guys, it's your old pal Alice Cooper. Basically, this is Spooktacular. So you're gonna be seeing a bunch of horror movies that have a Halloween theme to it. Look for it all this month.
Hey guys, it's me, Alice Cooper. I'm back for my final review of the day. This is, of course, Ghost Rider, starring Nicolas Cage, Eva Mendes, and a few other select actors. It also has, the guy that does the beer ads, for Coors. Uh, he is Sam Neill. I think that's not his name. Sam something or other. And he's like this caretaker at the grave that. Basically, what I'm going to go ahead and go into detail here is that it starts out where come to our hero, uh, Nicolas Cage. He's a teenager and with his dad, and he's like this motorcycle rider, and well, the dad is, and he's smoking a lot, and basically he enlists the help of this guy that comes along, and he says that he can help him by bringing his dad back, but he's gonna have to sign this contract, and he signs it with his blood, and turns out he's the freaking devil. uh, well, he's not the devil. He's the like one of the assistants or something like that, and basically, he says that's it, and the father stays alive for like 5 minutes, and then he freaking dies on a freaking motorcycle. And the guy says that, and then he has this meeting with his girlfriend in front of this tree, and he basically leaves her because he's in a position where he has to do that, and so it's like 10 years later, and Johnny Blaze is riding along his motorcycle doing various stunts, and he survives multiple stunts where he could have died several times. And his friend asks and talks to him, and he says, "You got an angel looking after you, pal." And he looks in the window, and you see skull on the window, and he goes, "Maybe it's something else." And we come to the scene where Johnny is in his little trailer, and he's watching a black and white cartoon of skeletons dancing, and he's all like, "Yeah, I'm a little worried about you, Chief." And he's freaking eating M&Ms out of a freaking glass, out of a champagne glass, which is kind of weird, by the way. And he turns off the cartoon. He turns the TV back on, and he says, "Don't do that." And he says, like I said, I'm a little worried about you, Chief. And he says, "I'm fine." And we come to this part where he gets reunited with his girlfriend from previous years, and she's a reporter, and she says that she has this little interview with Johnny Blaze after his most recent escapade, and she gets into the van with the cameraman. She drives off, and freaking Johnny gets on his motorcycle, and he rides right beside her, and he talks to her for a bit, and he convinces her to go on a date with him, and they basically stop, and these people are ecstatic because they love Johnny Blaze, and they want to talk to him, and she agrees to go on a date with him, and we come to this part where he's basically he's in his room and he's got his shirt off and he's looking into the mirror and he's like and he's like and he's got the I get like this and he discovers that he's got these ghostly Ghost Rider powers, and and we come to this part where there's this girl that we all know. She was in you know what I'm talking about. She's this goth girl, and she gets attacked by this guy, and the Ghost Rider looks at him, and he says, "Look into my eyes, see what you have done." And it's this penance stare, and the freaking guy has like blackness all over his eyes, and that's his penance stare, and it's one of his powers as a Ghost Rider. He's the Devil's Bounty Hunter, and and uh, and he talks to much later on. He talks to the girl that she comes up to see him, and she says, and he tells her that after that, he skipped out on her date, and he says that I'm the Devil's Bounty Hunter. I sold my soul to the devil, and she obviously doesn't believe this. And we have this scene where he's basically riding around his motorcycle as the Ghost Rider, and it's really cool because his skull is on fire, and he's riding around his motorcycle, and what can I tell you? Wes Bentley is this Blackheart that comes up, and he's the son of the guy from earlier, and he has this team, like 3 or 4 different people that are helping him out, and they have these special powers, and he comes to this bar, and he basically looks at him, and and he basically wipes out the whole bar, and we come to this part where he's talking to, he goes up into Johnny Blaze's apartment, and he says, "You don't work for me. You don't work for your father now. You work for me. You don't work for my father. You work for me." And he says, "Bring the contract of Sam Van Gaza to me, or else you won't see your girlfriend again." So basically, he doesn't know where it is. The guy that I was just talking about, Sam, what's his name? Turns out that he actually has the contract in his shovel the whole time, and he calls him Bonehead. And turns out that he's actually the original Ghost Rider. He rides a horse. Obviously, Johnny rides a bike, and he says, "Maybe I got one more ride left in me." And and he says, "Can you keep up?" And we come to this theme music where they're riding along, and it's freaking awesome, by the way. And he says that I can't go with you, Johnny. This is my last stop. And he takes the contract to Sam Van Gaza, and he goes to Blackheart, and he confronts him with a gun and a little shotgun, you might say. And Blackheart says he wants the contract, and Johnny basically hands it to him. And Johnny and freaking Blackheart becomes Legion. And he says he finally got a soul to burn. Before he didn't. He says, "Your penance stare doesn't work on me. I had no soul to burn." That was like a few scenes ago, but now he does. He's got several souls actually. And he says, the Ghost Rider looks into his eyes, and he says, "Multiple souls to burn. see what you have done. Look into my eyes. And the freaking Blackheart turns into his, his black eyes, and that's pretty much he's defeated. And the guy from earlier, I think his name is Beelzebub or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. You know who his character is. Then he looks at him and he talks to him, and he says, "No, I'm gonna own this curse. The spirit, and every time, spirit of vengeance will be there." And he says, "You will regret this, Johnny." And we cut to this scene where Johnny takes the girl, and that's pretty much it. They basically kiss, and they cut to this scene where Johnny's riding on his bike, and we had the guy from earlier, Sam, where he's narrating for a little bit, and he says, "This is how the legend of the rider is born." And we have the theme music, and the credit starts rolling. And so it's not a very complex story. Ghost Rider, is an okay movie for Halloween. I recommend it, I guess. You can find it on Blu-ray for like $8. And you can find it on TV. I won't say who, but let's just say it starts with an F. And so, Ghost Rider. What can I say?
Ghost Rider is an okay movie and deserves a rating of popcorn balls and gum.
So, Ghost Rider. That was Ghost Rider. Anyway, like I said, I recommend it for Halloween. This is my last review of the night. So there you go. It's a good. Incidentally, it's a comic movie, but it's a good movie for Halloween. So go ahead and hit subscribe. Watch some more videos. Hit thumbs up to support the channel. And leave a comment below. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.